So thank you very much for joining today's webinar. I'm Adam Barry. Some of you know me. I'm the development manager for Europe. And it's great to be here. And it's actually great to be using the Mentee software for this. So I'm very excited. I'm joined with my colleague, Kusal, who's the senior implementation consultant. So once we come to the Q&A, if there are any extreme technical questions, Kusal will be able to help us. And also I'm going to be joined later on when I show you the slides. TU Delft has kindly agreed to share some statistics with regards to their usage and ebook usage as well. So I'll be sharing some stats in the presentation later on. Please, if you have questions, my colleague Fiona, yes, we'll send you the slides, Ria, no problem. If you do have questions, please pop them in the Q&A and my colleague Fiona will moderate and I'll do my best to answer them as we go along. If anybody gets stuck with the Mentimeter stuff, again, just pop a note in the chat box and we'll be happy to help you. So just to confirm one more time, the place that you need to go is mentee.com, and then it should ask you for a code, and the code is 12602984. One thing to say here also is that it's totally private, so nobody will know what institute or what university it came from. It's just a great way for us to facilitate a discussion and just to hear actually some advices, tips, some challenges with regards to ebooks. And most importantly, it's going to be a bit of fun. So thank you very much for that. So the title of today's webinar is Off the Bookshelf to ebook readers, exposing your ebook collection in your patrons' workflow. So over the past month or so, just been digging around, looking at some papers, and this is how it's comprised of this is what the Mentimeter is comprised of. So some thinking points, some talking points, and we really hope it's going to be engaging for you. Once the Mentimeter is finished, we'll go to PowerPoint. Just some very quick slides, like I said, just to show you through some of the features and the solutions that we currently offer. At the bottom of the page, you will also notice some reactions. I think that we live in the generation now where we like things, we love things, and you also have a downward dislike. So please, if you feel obligated, if you like the quote, or if you like what we're saying, please give it a thumbs up, a love, or if you don't like what we're saying, also just put a thumbs down, okay? And we will share the webinar, the recording afterwards. And I think it will be super interesting to share these slides with you as well, because it will contain all the answers and hopefully there will be some useful information for you to take back to your libraries as well. Thank you very much. So the agenda for today, we're going to start with an interactive session. This. Not very interactive at the moment, but we'll get to it. Then we're going to look at ebooks in the workflow and library guides in the workflow, and then we'll finish up with a Q&A. I'm just going to minimize myself talking because it's going to take away the part of the quote. So this is our mission rather. So the new Lean Library mission is to help redefine and amplify the power of the academic library to advance student learning and researcher impact. And we believe that we are in the process of doing this now with our new solution with regards to library futures. And some of you may be aware we're conducting a global survey between the library and the patron relationship, and we're due to release the results in September time. So it's going to be some interesting learning for us there too. So let's kick off. So this is from Scono. So libraries are working hard to offer improved provision for ebooks as demand increases from an average of around 1 per FTE in 2004 to almost 90 in 2013. And in the past 3 years, the average number of ebook accesses per FTE has increased by 77% compared to a fall in print book loans of 27%. Now, is this something that you notice at your university also? Is that the demand for your ebooks is growing? Maybe there's a slight decline in the request for print book loans. And I think if we consider what happened last year with the pandemic, everything being pushed into a digital environment, libraries being closed, people not able to access books off the shelf, it kind of highlighted the importance of having ebooks because they are available anywhere, right? They don't have to be collected from the library. Myself, I like to hold a book in my hand, but I also believe that there's massive advantages to having ebooks also. So great, thank you for making the reactions. So that's from Sconal. If anybody's interested in reading any of the papers afterwards, I would be happy to send you the links to download them. So the first question, so on your Mentimeter, whether you're on your phone or whether you are looking on your second screen, it should give you an option now where you can input one of 5 options. So how much of your collection is made up of eBooks? Is it 0 to 20%, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, or 80 above? Wow, we have somebody with 81% above. Okay, wow, awesome. Like I say, I can share these slides with you afterwards, so you have this information. Okay, so I think, yeah, we've had 16, so over half. I said between, oh, there we go, 70 now. 21 to 40% is the biggest segment. Then we have 4 with 41 to 60%. I'm just looking at the Q&A as well. So percentage of complete or book collection, it depends historically. It's lower than new buyers for my area, 99%. Our collection is 100% digital. Ah, okay, great. Thank you. Again, so it might, I'll get the notifications for the chat and the Q&A, but please, if you want to ask me something, just pop it in there, okay? So that's interesting. I love using the mentee because it's interactive as well. Now, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? So on your Mentimeter, it might have said at the top, the presenter has changed the slide. So if it did, click move to slide, or it might have taken you to this slide directly. So agree or disagree. And you have 1, 2, 3, 7 different options. 5 is I strongly agree with this, and 1 is I strongly disagree. If you could just input your answers into this, please. I'll read them aloud for you. Growing the ebook collection is a priority. Concurrent user restrictions cause confusion. The variety of ebook readers make it difficult for the library to support. Patrons still have a preference for print. Ebook access poses challenges. Ebook usage is a priority, and ebooks are costly. So if everybody take a moment. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, whether ebooks are costly. I was reading something the other day, and this is the whole premise, especially on campus when things open up within IP ranges. So I'm a user sitting in the university now, and I go to any journal, any ebook, any publisher or aggregator, because the IP ranges, a lot of these things open up automatically. So there's a misconception that a lot of these things are free. And some of these ebooks, I seen one the other day for $975. Wow, $975. So yeah, maybe they are quite costly, no? Patrons still have a preference for print. So that's the lowest one there. What else do we have there? Ebook access poses challenges. But I think the highest ebook usage is a priority. Let's just jump down a little bit. So yeah, I think we're stable on it now. Yeah, interesting. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I think we strongly agree growing the ebook collection is a priority. Maybe it's after the pandemic and things last year, maybe that's what's kicked the gear into it, you know. And concurrent user restrictions cause confusion. This is something that I hear from librarians often. If I'm the 2nd or 5th, 10th user going onto an ebook, I can't access it because of the user licenses. But again, that causes frustration because sometimes in that moment, I just don't know why I can't access it. I accessed it maybe 1 hour before, and I can't do it now. The variety of ebook readers make it difficult for the library to support. With multiple ebook readers, then you have multiple platforms like publishers and aggregators where you can access the ebooks, and they're all slightly different. So access poses challenges. We'll touch on that later on. Ebook use is a priority. Again, I'll show you how we can help increase that. And like I said, we touched on the ebooks are costly as well. So thank you very much for sharing. Okay. For your library, again, remember this is all private. What has been your biggest challenge, if you wouldn't mind sharing? Because what I'm hoping with the next slide, we're going to go into some tips and some tricks and some hacks. And I would really, really appreciate it if you could share with your colleagues and your peers some advices, actually. So before we come to that, I think it's good to start with what has been a big challenge. And I'm just going to look at the chat box now, okay? Oh, let me minimize myself. You'd rather see the answers than me, right? Thank you for these answers, Lisa, Jennifer. Yeah, print preference has been higher since March. Thank you also, Rutger. Thank you so much for these answers. Yeah, so dollars, dollars, pounds, euros, wherever your currency is, I think most would agree that they can be quite costly. And they're less visible. People do not browse it. This is interesting as well, and I think it's been multiple times I've spoken with institutions that actually don't catalog, don't have the ebooks. Well, they don't have all of their ebooks in their holdings. So if I'm doing a search then via the discovery, not able to access all of the ebooks. So I'll show you something that we can do for that later. The different formats. Wow, cost has come up 3 times now, 4 times. So I think, well, yeah, one of the biggest challenges is cost, then getting online access. Oh, wow, 5 again with the cost. Providing access to electronic textbooks, not on aggregators. Interesting. Restrictive licenses. Wow, thank you so much for these. Access to textbooks also. Oh, again, we're coming down to cost again. The amount of things that aren't available. Yeah, the perception is that everything is available. Publishers still love print. The cost, print preference not included in the course reading list. Purchase in Dutch language ebooks. I had that the other day, actually, a question with regards to that. Accessibility. Ebooks in other languages, except for English, definitely. To understand. Thank you so much for these, and I hope that they will be useful for you as well, because I'll share these, and then when we come to the next slide, just hopefully we can facilitate some hacks, some tips, some advices, and you're the experts, no? And I think that if you can offer something to share with our colleagues here on the webinar, I think that would be great. So thank you so much. I think the biggest one that comes through, I think, is cost. I think over 5-6 times cost was mentioned. So that's interesting. The biggest challenge for the audience, at least, based on, we have many challenges there, but the most common one is cost. Yeah, like I said the other day, I saw one for $975. You know, it's, I can't imagine paying that myself, you know. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. The Mentimeter might now say to you, go to the next page, or it might have moved you there automatically. And you should see, can you share some tips, advice, or hacks for anything eBooks? So this is just for the colleagues and peers in the audience. Is there anything that you've done at the library that's helped users with regards to ebook access, or it's maybe you managed to find some cost savings somewhere, you thought of a really nifty solution. Maybe there's an initiative that you run that helped, but anything that you could share, I think would be super beneficial. Of course, if you don't, that's okay too. So green versions of O'Reilly books. Thank you so much. Maybe there is a way that you help to increase usage, visibility. Yeah, even if you want to, well, you mentioned O'Reilly books here as well, eBooks. Maybe there's something that you've done with a specific a platform or vendor by DRMfree only. Evidence-based acquisition EBA packages offer great flexibility in return when ramping up ebook collections. Thank you so much. Regular titles overlapping analysis in different ebook platforms. That's a good idea. Okay, thank you. So if people are on the input screen and not using two screens, you can jump back to the main screen where I'm sharing the presentation to see some of these answers coming in. Thank you so much for these. I will share these with everybody afterwards. We will no longer buy e-text or create an announcement in the VLE, highlighting digitations, the DRM restrictions and license. Awesome, thank you. Via consortia, we can contact them, say them to work with aggregators, weeding out old editions and unused titles. Great. That can be a mission sometimes, no, when the collection is so large. Evidence-based acquisitions, great. Digitizing books that are no longer in print. Discovery systems can increase the visibility of ebooks for readers. Online ebook display for librarians. Okay, that's a good idea. We arrange an online ebook display for the librarians and academics every year. This year, about 10 supplier publishers will participate. Okay, so if you have concurrent user restrictions, you can make a note on the discovery to inform the user. Also held a few workshops last year explaining how ebook acquisitions work to staff and faculty. Thank you so much. I really hope that there could be some ideas that you can take away as well. I think we have another one. Yeah, the browsing app is a great way. It's an intuitive way to get your ebooks in one location, no? New metrics available in Counterfeit make managing ebook purchasing decisions so much easier and reliable. Okay. Just checking if there's anything else. Thank you. Yes, okay, perfect. We're going to move to the next slide. Like I say with you, I'll share these afterwards, okay? So this is from a report. I was reading a paper and it's from a student and it's a quote. As a student, the accessibility of ebooks is vital. I think that just based on some of the questions that we had previous and some of the answers you've submitted, I think most can agree that's the case. And where do we make the ebooks accessible? Because I think it's when we come into the areas of not having everything in the collection, for example. I know somebody commented they have most of the ebooks in the collection, but if you don't, there's ways that we can get around it. And what we're going to focus on today when I come to the PowerPoint slides is the accessibility of ebooks in the patrons outside of the library workflow, because we're not a replacement actually for anything that you have. We don't replace any library technology that you have, any library services or systems. We actually are a complementary piece of technology. And if you ask me, I believe the best place for your users to start is at the Discovery or the library website anyway. But with the rise of Google and over 40% of searches taking place outside of the library Discovery, it's fair to say that a lot of patrons at your institution will be starting at Google or Google Scholar. And it's how do we increase the visibility of those ebooks then? And that's what I'll show you later on, okay? Visibility of ebooks within the library is an important factor to consider, with users finding their ebooks using a range of tools that are often not the traditional library search tools. So it kind of amplifies my point from a little before. It's the discovery is there for a reason. It's curated material as a single search point. But I think with the rise of Google and Google becoming such an integral part of search engine, just and Yanina, who's in the crowd there, she has a she coined a great term when we spoke a few months ago, and is patrons are not little librarians. So, we'd hope that we can make our patrons search in the way that we do, but patrons have their own way of searching. I'm a millennial. I go into Google and I put in weird search terms. So lots of patrons are doing this, and hopefully by the end of the presentation, we can show you how we can help those users who are starting outside of traditional library search tools. And the creation of tutorials that help users to locate and work with eBooks are viewed as an important part of improving ebook usage. And I'm going to show you a nifty example that I did set up for ProQuest the other day. So an example, if a user arrives to ProQuest, how can your library best support that user to access the ebooks at the moment of need? Because if ebooks if multiple vendors or platforms have different readers, they have different displays, everything changes when you move around different platforms. So I think that being able to support your users will hopefully support your users getting access is one thing, but then supporting your users and how to use the software is another, and we're going to show you both of those. Okay. So that's the polling part. Can I request that everybody comes back to the main screen, please? And I'm going to show you a quick video, and then we're going to jump into some slides where I'll walk you through some screenshots and things like that. Okay. So thank you for submitting the information. After this slide, we're going to move to PowerPoint. But this is a new video from Lean Library, and it's what I really want to express is like I say, we're not a replacement for what you have at the moment. We're helping those users. We're bringing your services to your users when they start at Google, or when they start at Google Scholar, or when they go to the publishers directly. So Lean Library is focused on outside of the library mentality. So going outside of the library website, going outside of the library discovery. And when that happens, it can be quite confusing for a patron because they're jumping around different websites, different access points, paywalls, this type of thing. So I'm going to hit play and hopefully you can hear it. So thank you very much for that. I'll stop my share. I can jump with you for a second, and then I will, yes, Rutger, you have a chat, you have a comment? You've raised your hands. Let me check in the chat then a second. Oh, there was no sound. And my apologies. I will send you the video afterwards anyway. Briss, I hope the visuals do a good enough job of explaining, but just to give you an idea is that the pin, what do you call it? What's the game when you ping the ball and it goes around into those different things? That's the kind of idea where if I'm a patron and I start outside the library website, I go to Google Scholar. And from Scholar, I head to a publisher's website, then a paywall, and I'm hit around. And then if I want to access library services, for example, maybe a LibGuide or wherever it might be, I have to go back to the library website. So it's jumping around all of these different locations, and in essence, it's taking me out of my workflow. A pinball, yeah, thank you, Jennifer. For the life of me, I couldn't think of that then. So yeah, the pinball. And with the Lean Library offering, whether it would be access or futures, we look to streamline that so users are not taken out of their workflow, but they can still access library content and services at the click. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm sorry for that. There was no sound also. I'm going to share my screen with you in a second. Yeah, a little bit embarrassed. I can't remember the pinball then. Okay, everybody should be able to see you. Yeah, the title again. I got a picture of me in the corner left as well. Okay, so this part I'm gonna show you some stats from TU Delft. They've been kind enough to share the usage statistics. And I just want to double check. Yes, Jan, you're in the crowd. Hello there. Jan is a library specialist from Delft, and we chatted yesterday, and they kindly agreed to share. They allowed me to share the statistics for TU Delft. So I'm going to show you that first. And then I'm going to show you through some screenshots about your ebook collection in the workflow, and then the support guides, and then we'll finish up with a Q&A. So we will be able to answer any questions there, okay? So TU Delft, minimize. This is their statistics in terms of users. So they've been with us since 2018, and you can see there's been a gradual increase. And yesterday we were chatting about, if you look, in 2020 around the March time, well, we all know what time that was. There was a spike in usage, and it seemed to increase. I mean, look at the past number of months, it's catapulted again. So there were 52 users off reaching 7,000 when I checked for last month. So I'm sure that they're going to pip it very soon. But yeah, it's just something to show you, because sometimes we get asked the question, will people download it? Will people download the extension? And yeah, I think it's clear to say that they will download it. And to show you something with regards to eBooks, in 2020, the average number of times we presented a notification of a licensed book in TU Delft's collection, that was over 10,000 times in 2020. And then in 2021, from January to June, it's been 14,000. So I think that if users are going to the library discovery, or they go into traditional library search tools, that's fine. They're going to be able to access things in the usual way. But there's a growing need to be able to help users who are going maybe to Amazon, for example. So if users are searching on Amazon, how can the library help that user in that moment? And I'm going to show you how. So what you see here is a GIF. So it's just going to cycle through. So we'll let it flip in the background. But when a user arrives to Amazon and they begin their search, we will be able to notify that user with a pop-up to say that, hey, your library has this exact same ebook for you, but it lives in a different location. So here we go. There's paywall, $35. We surface a pop-up. So we communicate directly with your holdings. So we have an API connection with your holdings, which means that anything which is in there, we can activate and surface a pop-up to say that actually we have this ebook. Also, it works for articles, but we have this ebook. You don't need to pay Amazon because we have this ebook for you. Click here, and then I'm taken in this example to Sage Knowledge and on Sage Books. I will need to authenticate myself. This is the library access tool here. I click get access, and now I have the ebook. So I'm avoiding that. I think it was a $35. Yeah, $35 for the paperback and $58 then for the e-textbook. And a question that we're always asked is it only available for Amazon? Nope. So it works on any website that we're able to surface, or able to locate an ISBN. So as long as we're able to find that ISBN number, we'll be able to surface these notifications for your users. And yeah, I mean, there's $125 here for this ebook. So if this is one of your users, you're going to that website and your library can surface a pop-up to say that actually, no, you don't need to pay, because we have this ebook, it just lives somewhere else. And I think another thing to add here is, if you don't have if all of your ebooks are not available within your collection, they will still be accessible from the publisher or the vendor directly, right? So with the library access tool, users will be able to access your full collection if they go to the publisher directly. So if I go to Sage eBooks, for example, and I click get access, anything that the library has purchased from there can be opened automatically now. So even though those books may not be cataloged in the collection, because I'm authenticated via Easy Proxy in this instance, things are going to open up for me then. So that's the ebooks. So this also works for articles, licensed content, licensed articles, open access, and ebooks. We also offer the facility to do ebook chapter ordering as well. So if there is a specific chapter that your users want, they can use the DDS or the ILL feature, part of library access, where they can submit a form and then that request goes to the library. And in 2020, we provided library patrons with 3.4 million opportunities to avoid ebook paywalls. I think that's quite a staggering number. So we presented 3.4 million opportunities to say that, hey, the library has this ebook, please click here to get access, or please click here to access the book in a different location. Just going to check the chat at the moment. Hi, thank you, Jen. Jennifer, thank you so much. Susan, your question, if ebooks are found by ISBN, our articles are done by DOI. And my colleague Kusal will be able to help with regards to chapters, if that's okay, Kusal. Would it be okay if I,
Yeah, chapters are also found by DOI. So some ebooks have chapters attached to a DOI.
Thank you, Kusal. So yeah, DOI, you're welcome, Susan. Sorry for the taking a little bit of time to get to that question too. And Jennifer, thank you for posting the clip of that video as well. It's a much better explanation than my pinball one. Thank you. Yeah, so 3.4 million opportunities to avoid ebook paywalls. So that's for the whole usage across our base. So that's getting access or presenting or exposing your collection in the workflow. Another thing that we're able to do then is support those users in that process. So for example, if a user arrives to, and it's not just specific to ebooks, it's relevant for any resource. If you have a training guide for anything, any software, any system, any publisher, vendor, we're now able to inject that directly into the patron's workflow. And again, it follows that premise that you spend millions, millions, thousands on content, and you want to make that content as accessible as possible. You want to increase the usage of it. But it's the same principle that users have to go to a said location to access it. This is where the library access comes in and go, you can research outside the library and it's okay because the library content will still come with you. But this part I'm about to show you is we can still bring a library service to you also. If you think about the time that you invest in making training guides, maybe they are videos, a user still has to go to a said location to be able to access that. So if I want to access a LibGuide, for example, I have to usually go to the library website to access it. Well, if I'm at a website and I need support, this is what we can do now, is bring that LibGuide to them. So I'm on Google, and then I arrive to ProQuest. I'm sorry, I had to accept the cookies. And then you see this toolbar on the right-hand side. So this is called the Workflow Librarian. So this is part of the Lean Library Futures service, where users can pull library content or library services directly from this toolbar on the right-hand side. Now, what you're seeing here, sorry, it moves a bit fast, but it will go back around. What you see is that a user has come to ProQuest, and on the right-hand side, they see this arrow. So this can be branded in any of your colors. You can have your university logo on your tool. But there's a guide on how to use the ebook reader for ProQuest. So this is actually taken from the ProQuest website itself. And I thought it'd be quite nifty just to show you as an example. So you can inject videos. On the next page, I'm going to show you something with Google Scholar. but we believe it's been a great way to, it's at the moment of need, isn't it? It's I give a metaphor a few weeks ago when I can't remember who I was speaking with, but if you break down in a car, you need a mechanic there and then, no? It's quite important for you to get that mechanic. But 2 weeks later, when you're sitting at home on your sofa, in the nice warmth, you know, that the need of the mechanic is not there any longer. It's a lot less. So we believe that we're hitting the user at the moment that they need it in the heartbeat almost. So I'm on ProQuest, and one of the biggest difference you notice, I have to select it to pull it across. So the library is now able to choose whether they want to activate this as a push notification. So when a user arrives to ProQuest, it will be presented automatically. Or do they want to allow the user to pull across the information like you see in this example? Once the user clicked marked as read and they go to ProQuest the next time, then they don't see this again. So yeah, this is the integration. We also have an integration with SpringShare. So if there are any SpringShare customers, we're able to do your libguides en masse. We will be introducing an integration for libchat soon as well. But yeah, this is for any training content that you have. We have some partners at the moment who are injecting YouTube videos into it. So they're surfacing their video content on the go. And this is an example from Utah State University. I just want to show you this very quickly because it's a Google Scholar guide. So when their users arrive to Google Scholar, they'll be presented with the Google Scholar guide. And you can see here, the workflow librarian has a few more options too. The one that we're focusing on at the moment is library support, but as you see, there's a few more there too. So anytime a user clicked library support, you would be able to surface any relevant content for the said system or website that they're currently on. And if anybody would be interested to read the case study, we will be happy to attach it to the link to the email with regards to with the recording and the Mentimeter stuff as well. But yeah, that guide that you saw previous, there was a 450% increase in the usage of that libguide. So 600% increase. You can see that before Lean Library is in the blue, and then with the Lean Library integration, I mean, look at the spikes. I think at every time, one moment, or not, just a few moments that the before Lean Library was higher. So we believe it's going to be a great way for you to surface your training content for your patrons. And in turn, it allows then the librarians, the subject, the academic librarians to focus more on sort of bigger tasks, more strategic things, instead of doing the repetitive, this is how you do it, this is how you access, and this is how you use this ebook reader, for example, or this is how you use this search engine, this database. So if you have those guides, then you're able to inject them so that your users can access them when they're on that said system or resource. And with that being said, I would like to stop my share. And I think we're on good time. I can't see my time at the moment. I'll stop my share and just allow for a Q&A. Are there any questions that we have? Does anybody have any questions? It's no problem if not. Just going to make sure I'm going to go back through just to see I'm not missed any. Okay. I think maybe then, as we've got a few minutes, I can kind of still roll with the ebook theme. As you've seen from the workflow librarian, that toolbar that comes across on the right-hand side, there is a few different menus within that. One of them was called library support, which is the libguides or the training material. And then one of the other ones was library discovery. You may have seen webinars that have been going on at the moment. We've launched an integration with EBSCO. Primo is coming up soon, and OCLC. WorldCat, sorry, Primo and someone. What that means now is that we're able to direct directly integrate your holdings into a Google search or Google Scholar search. Now, if you think about eBooks as well and trying to grow your usage, I think it's a great way just to present your curated material again at the point of need. So you're presenting your discovery results against the power of Google almost. So that's a great way that we're able to increase the resource usage too. Usually I struggle for time in webinars and presentations, but I've been quite good this time. Allowed how many patrons install the Lean library plugin? I think the updated statistics, is it over 250 or 225,000? Does that anybody have the number off the top of your head? It's over 200,000 users we have across now, across the world. But it's a golden question, Rutger. It's, will users download the extension? You know, library says to me, well, we spent 40 years asking them, or 30 years asking them to go to the library discovery. Why are they going to go? Why are they going to go and download a plugin for? And it's a very valid, I believe it's a very valid question. But I think my only answer to that would be yes, they will download the plugin. And actually, on the survey coming out in September, we've I think surveyed over 3,500 now. And I don't want to give you the number because I don't want to give it wrong. But there's a large proportion of students who said, yes, they would download an extension if it made their lives easier in terms of research. So yes, they will download it. We have over 200,000 users. And I believe the main reason why they will download it is because we're not asking your patrons to do, we're not asking them to shift their behavior. You know, if I have a preferred research workflow of going to Google Scholar, then my library is enforcing or mandating me to go to the discovery to access that material, then I'm going to become frustrated and I'm going to find other ways and means to access that content then. So what we say at Library Access is you can carry on with your preferred workflow, and then we will bring the library content and services to you. I can't give you the percentage at the moment, but I will be happy to share that with you afterwards. You have 2,000 plus users. And what's your FTE then, Rutger, if you don't mind me asking? I would be happy to pick this up with you if you want to have a one-to-one chat. Be more than happy to talk with you about usage, the different ways that we can, we're launching a few. We've launched one actually at the moment, which is a download page. So for our users, you can inject a link to appear on the library website that will then take a user to a page where they can download the extension, because we had feedback that some users, when they on the library website, we say download Lean Library, then they're taken to an external website and there's a mismatch in branding, et cetera, et cetera. So we've now created a page, which is a fully branded page with Lean Library stuff and your university. Come in a few months, we're going to be able to provide you with a button, a download button that you can inject into multiple locations to try to increase the usage. So yeah, Rutger, if you would be happy to chat with me afterwards, I would be love to meet you and come by just to discuss usage, and we can think of some creative ways how to help you with that, if that would be okay. Yeah, perfect. I would love to meet you. Awesome. Okay. And a question from Anna is, do the help guides just appear because the user has downloaded the extension, not just because they are within the IP range? Yes, they would have to download the extension for the guides to appear. Janina, no questions, but great presentation. We'll ask you if you can come and do it for our librarians. Of course, if you want me to come by and do it at the university, I would love to come by. So yeah, just drop me an email and I will come and do that. And Jennifer, thank you for this question. Is there an option for directing patrons to a DRM-free copy of a book from an aggregated platform where they have access to both? Interesting. We're only ever reading what's within your holdings. So we can only ever notify and surface notifications for eBooks with something within your holdings. So if that's contained within your holdings, then we would be able to do it. But I'm not sure entirely. Kusal, can you see the question?
I'd like to add, yeah, I'd like to add something. So So what happens is when we detect the ISBN, we send an open URL request to your holdings, and depending on your response, we pick the license location. And in your case, I think there can be a few locations as a license location, but we currently pick the first ranking location from your holdings response. So if the DRM-free location is ranked as the first location in your link resolver's response, then we will pick that up. Unless, if not, you will have to adjust it in your holdings, then it will also pick up once the adjustment is done. Does that answer the question?
Thank you, Kusal. Okay, I think that's everything then. We've done that. Answer done. Okay, perfect. I can't see any more questions. I'm just jumped over in the chat, the Q&A. In the Q&A, I can't see any more. So I would just like to say thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's been great fun for me. Yeah, I look forward to chatting with you individually. If you want to learn more about the ebook feature, we can set up a trial very, very easily. Rutger, I will meet you soon to discuss about the usage also. And then Janina as well, I can come by and do this presentation for you, no problem. Thank you so much, everybody. And it's always a great pleasure. I hope that you have a great day and the sun is shining wherever you are. Thank you very much.